right, we're having a little costume contest here in the studio for some of the guys that have been playing in the NBA so far this season. We're going to start with last night's contest. We had the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Some of the guys were dressing up, especially Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns. Came out rip-roaring, got ejected later in the game, played about 20 minutes each. We've got Joel Embiid dressing up as Godzilla and Karl Anthony Towns dressing up as Gojira, his arch nemesis right here, going at it, doing battle, and getting physical on the hardwood.
Yeah, this was exactly what I was looking forward to in this game, man. I didn't expect it to happen, man, but you like the competitiveness, the aggressiveness here from these two. The NBA is kind of known for being kind of like a soft league and with fouls and stuff and not allowing a lot of things to go down and not like, back when it was with the bad boy Pistons and, the Bulls and how they would just hack each other and foul each other. And this all started because Karl Anthony Towns had a turnover that Embiid stole the ball, and he was definitely frustrated with himself. Embiid was a little bit jawing at him, getting him to get all ticked off, and then he lost his composure and he swung at him, and they, hit the floor hard, and that was that. And then Ben Simmons came in and, he kind of put Karl Anthony Towns in a sleeper hold. It was a fight there in Philly, and I like to see it. I like to see the competitiveness by both these guys.
Yeah, Ben Simmons going to the ground, choking out Karl Anthony Towns. I love to see that, the competitive nature, always getting in there, throwing for your boys. I mean, you got to do it, especially if you're repping the town of Philly. What Embiid said after the game was absolutely beautiful, talking about how he was built for that town, how that town was built for him. Mike Scott really teaching these guys how to play basketball.
Yeah, and this was a good win here for the 76ers because they've looked great, I believe, over the last 4 games. They've looked really good, and it's because guys are stepping up for them. And Al Horford's been a big addition. Josh Richardson's been huge. I need to see a little bit more from Tobias Harris. I didn't like what he did there in the Hawks game where he shot 4 out of 15 or something crazy like that. He's got to be better. And you sign a guy $180 million, he's got to be better than what he has shown here the first few games of the season. But this Sixers team right now is clicking on all cylinders, and they by far the best team in the West in the first 2 weeks of this season.
Yeah, Joel Embiid really proven that he is the king of the monsters, just like Godzilla is. He's going to take down any big man that you put in his way. He doesn't care. He'll start swinging. And, Mama didn't raise none. That's what I'm saying right there. Come on. For the 76ers, though, a few years ago, they looked like the nerd looks, the tiny little aliens that were in Space Jam. Now they are the Monstars,
yeah.
The biggest lineup assembled this year. They're all huge. They're all going to go out there and be ballers for you. I love the grit and intensity that they bring every night on the court. I really enjoy watching the 76ers team. They look great. Joel Embiid dressing up like Godzilla out there on the court.
Yeah, and now we're going to move on here to Harden and Bradley Beal putting on an absolute show last night. Dolby, this kind of reminded me of a little bit of Batman versus the Joker action here between these two guys, man. Harden was Batman. They got the job done. They won it 159-158. Harden is Batman. That's the costume. And then Bradley Beal's the Joker, battling with them all game long. 46 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds to Harden's 59, 9, and 3. And this was just an absolute offensive showdown between these two guys in the nation's capital. It was a great game for the Rockets. They were able to just squeak away with the victory there. But I'll tell you what, this right here was something that I like to see there, that offensive showdown between Harden and Beal. And Harden was able to get the job done just barely by that score. I mean, that game didn't even go overtime, Dolby. That's how incredible that scoring showdown was.
Right? I mean, 159-158 in regular time there. Come on. I mean, there was no defense played. We were watching that game, and it was just like, if you were a fan of defense, this was not the game for you. It was enjoyable to watch because of the sheer amount of points that each team was putting up. But, I mean, to let James Harden put up 60 against you, come on, Washington. This is going to be a tough season. This is going to be rough for you. You need your guy out there, the Joker. They're kind of the evil characters right now, especially in the East, maybe ruining people's seasons, are the Washington Wizards. Even though John Wall was dressed up as the Joker at the Wizards Halloween party, we're going to go with his partner Beal as a Joker. Like you said, really just battling it out. Classic battle here, trying to keep his team in it, trying to rep the bad guys. And Russell Westbrook dropped another triple-double, really solidifying his role as the Robin to James Harden's Batman. These guys are dressing up as some superheroes to try and get that dub against an overachieving Washington Wizards team.
And he passed Magic Johnson there for most triple-doubles of all time earlier this season. And this guy is just an unbelievable basketball player. And he is a much bigger upgrade, in my opinion, than Chris Paul, because this guy has a dog's mentality, somebody that's going to go at you. He never seems tired on the court. He runs up and down. He's improving his shot. He did have a good offseason, I believe. People were very critical of his three-point shot and his perimeter game. I think he's worked on that. And now he's ready to roll with his buddy James Harden. And this team, I'm telling you, you can't sleep on the Houston Rockets, man, because they can score with the best of anybody, with the Clippers, with the Lakers. They got to clean up some things there on defense. But I'll tell you what, this is a big-time offensive team, and Russell Westbrook is big-time and will be a great player there with James Harden.
Do you think this defense can sustain itself, though, throughout the playoffs whenever the Rockets make it? Do you think this brand of basketball is going to work in the Western Conference?
No, it won't. And that's why Mike D'Antoni obviously has never got the job done in the playoffs. I mean, that's why, because the defense has been the part of their game that they've struggled with, and they couldn't get stops late, and they couldn't hold Kevin Durant there and Clay and all those guys when they battled with them in the playoffs. And to be honest with you, it was kind of just stagnant. They were a little bit stagnant there offensively as well. But, to your point there, Dolby, this defense has got to be better than what they've shown here through the first few games, just giving up 100 points like it's nobody's business. It's got to be better than that. But I'll tell you what, I think they are just going to get better and better as the season moves along.
The next guy's dressing up for Halloween and showing up at our hypothetical doorstep here to receive some candy are Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard dressed as a 2-pack of Twinkies. What do you think about that pairing there?
Yeah, I mean, you know why they're a pack of two Twinkies, man, and for Halloween? Because these guys are a little bit soft, just kind of like a Twinkie. They're a little bit soft. They're great players. I'm a fan of Twinkies. I kind of cut back on them, trying to lose some LBs, but everybody has a strong opinion about these guys, and they got a strong opinion about Twinkies, man. It's just that simple. And you either love them or hate them. These guys are, Twinkies are great. These guys are great players. But, the whole reason I'm saying Kawhi's a little bit soft is because we're not even 5 games in, man. And he's out for load management. You kidding me with that? Are you serious? Going into the season, we didn't hear anything about injury or load management. Maybe they're going with the Toronto Raptors scheme where he's going to sit out a few games, or I don't know how many he sat out last year. It was close to 20. But when he did come to the playoffs, he was fully healthy. And ESPN on Wednesday wasn't happy about it, and I wouldn't be happy about it either. This is the Jazz and Clippers, a pretty good matchup. And I know it's early on in the season and he might need a break, but hey, that ruins some viewers there. And, ESPN wasn't happy about it. And I'll tell you what, man, that's why he's a little bit soft, in my opinion. He's a great basketball player, won a finals, but get on the court, man. Just keep, play. Just play. We're not even 10 games in, and you're already taking load management? Really? I don't understand it. Kevin Durant's a little bit of a different story because he's out for the entire year. But, I think he's a Twinkie because he left for the Oklahoma City Thunder and went to the Golden State Warriors, who won 73 games the year before he went to the team.
Not only that, but his burner accounts, all of his stuff on social media. The dude's just soft. He can't take criticism. He had to go and try and prove himself and try and go win championship rings with the Warriors. He needed that great team around him. He couldn't just, throw a team on his shoulders and take them there. So this dude is definitely soft. I agree. And Kawhi Leonard, the whole time management, load management thing is just ridiculous. Come on, you got to get in the game. You're playing the Utah Jazz. This could potentially be something down the stretch where you're battling for position in the playoffs, and that one loss to the Jazz does not look great on the record and goes down as a loss for the team. So you're just putting your team in an awkward position here right off the rip. Definitely soft. I love both of these players. I love Twinkies, just really soft. And I feel like every NBA GM is like Woody Harrelson's character in Zombieland, where they're looking for those Twinkies. They're looking for the guys that are great players. They're just not necessarily they're looking for soft players, but these guys are two of the marquee players in the league. You need a Twinkie on your team if you're going to go far. They're going to be healthy come playoff time. They don't want any players that are snowballs, that are just outright dirt. Yeah. They're just the soft guys inside that don't really pack a punch on the outside. Like the Kings are full of snowballs right now. They're a bunch of dudes that don't know how to get their act together. Nobody's really caring about them. Not a great fan base there behind them. Not a lot of support. The Sacramento Kings snowballs, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, are Twinkies. D'Angelo Russell, another kid showing up at our doorstep here asking for some candy. D'Angelo Russell, the primary star now with Golden State. To me, I think he's that little octopus girl from Finding Nemo.
Is it because his hair is all over the place?
It's his hair, man. He looks like an octopus. Not only that, but he comes up soft. He's just like this little character, this little girly character. He played well for the Nets, but right now with the Golden State Warriors, shooting 39% from the field, averaging 16 points per game, 6 assists, and I feel like he's just going to be inking all over the court, as that octopus would be saying in Finding Nemo. He is inking on the court right now, looking at other teams coming up on the schedule, and it's just him and Draymond for right now. Oh my goodness, I'd be inking myself too.
And the thing is with D'Angelo Russell, he's going to have to step up his game for the Golden State Warriors because of Steph Curry hand injury, and he's out for a timetable of time. But I like that one, Dolby. I know the hair and the little octopus there from Finding Nemo is a pretty good one there. He's going to have to step up his game though if the Warriors want to get any kind of back on track.
Yeah, he's more of to me, he's not that primary player. I mean, you watch Finding Nemo, and you've got Nemo. And you've got Marlin, and you got Dory. I mean, some primary characters here. That's Steph Curry. That's Klay Thompson. Yeah. But then you need a little octopus girl to throw in a little bit of color commentary, have a few good scenes, really put the whole movie together. That's D'Angelo Russell. You don't need to make a movie about the little octopus girl. Let me tell you, Pixar, that's not necessary. And that's what the Golden State Warriors are trying to do right now, trying to make D'Angelo Russell the primary star there for Golden State. We got another Warrior knocking on the door here, McClure, it's Steph Curry dressed as a mummy.
Yeah. Because it just seems like he gets hurt at the most inopportune times for the Golden State Warriors. And this hand injury here is the next example of that. The Steph Curry, he doesn't need to be hurt right now for the Golden State Warriors because the team stinks and he needs to be out on the court. That's why this guy's a mummy. He just gets hurt at the most inopportune times for the Golden State Warriors, man. And they need him right now. And he's not going to be on the court. He's going to be sitting with Klay Thompson and Steve Kerr asking what the heck's wrong. I don't know. Maybe because you guys aren't on the court and I'm, injuries happen and all, but it's because you guys aren't out on the court. And he just seems to get hurt at the most inopportune time. This one coming early in the season, and you can practically just kiss this Golden State Warriors season goodbye. You really couldn't think that.
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors, the pharaohs of the league, if you would, for the past 5 years, the most dominant, controlling team. Now their pyramid has been built. They built the Chase Center, cost them so much money. They thought they were going to have a great team, but no. It's a temple. It's a tomb right now for the Golden State Warriors. They're getting buried just like the ancient Egyptians did with their pharaohs. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson right now are mummies, just chilling in their tombs, waiting for something to happen, waiting for somebody to break in. They're hanging out with all their jewelry, the 3 championship rings. Steph's got his MVP trophies. He's got his whole hoard of loot just sitting there in his mummy's tomb, waiting for somebody to excavate that team, because right now that team is dead as dead can be. He is dressed as a mummy, all wrapped up with that broken hand and all those injuries. We got one more guy at the door here. McClure running out of candy for this segment. Who is he?
It's Kyrie Irving as knocking on our door, knocking on Dolby and McClure's door as Han Solo. And, mostly this guy, it just seems like he's just mostly worried about his stats. He averages, 35 points a game, 6 boards, 6 assists. The one who's always going to take the game-winning shot, the guy who is always going to have the ball in his hands, and he needs somebody to play with him. He needs a KD. He needed a LeBron. You saw what happened in Boston. He wanted to get out of there after 2 or 3 seasons because he couldn't make things work with some of their guys. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals in Boston when he wasn't there because he was hurt. The following year, you saw all the things going around the locker room in Boston because he was the head, he was the piece. He always just kind of needs a Jedi, kind of like what Han Solo does. And that's why Kyrie is Han Solo, man. And he's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it just seems like he always needs a sidekick.
Yeah, he definitely does need, like you said, that Jedi character for him. And you hit on it, the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant next year whenever he's coming back. He's a true Jedi. He's there to balance out the force with everybody else that they're going to have to play against in the Eastern Conference. There's no way that the Rebel Alliance gets that far if Han Solo is their main guy. He's kind of like that charismatic. He's not truly the hero. You love him, but you hate him kind of guy, Kyrie Irving. He's going to come up big in the clutch, as Han Solo does every time. He's always there. But Kyrie Irving, he's going to get you into a few hairy situations. So you never know what you're going to get from Kyrie Irving. He's chilling. He's going to get stuff done. He's going to make his money as a smuggler. He's got all these accolades, making that Kessel run in an impressive amount of time and distance. But the Kyrie Irving show, as everybody saw whenever they came out with that Han Solo movie, and not necessarily Star Wars here. It's just Kyrie right now. He's got DeAndre Jordan as a Chewbacca figure, about as tall as Chewbacca, but he needs that Jedi if he's going to move forward during the season. If the Nets are going to take that step forward towards the playoff push here, trying to get a good seeding